I'm Malcolm Van Delst, and this is an excerpt from Do the Wrong Thing. We're about 2/3 through. Tonight, a rewrite from the end of last week's piece where Ava's short-lived roommate moves out, and the addition of a piece about a bad date and the ongoing reordering of scenes. So my questions are, if you heard or read the scene where Lenny has moved out last week, which version is better, last week's or this one's? And if you don't mind, why? How is the Quentin piece? Are the jumps between the scenes okay and logical? Do they work? Anything else? What's working? What's not? Etc. 3 weeks after he moves in, Lenny moves out. I come home to find the door to his room wide open, his bed and gym bag gone. Do I need to change the lock? I collapse onto the couch and stare at the picture of my youngest brother pushpinned to the rickety staircase. I hate photographs. I don't like to be in them, and I don't like people collecting and displaying their children as if they're objects. But I miss Christian. I can't see him because Mom is waiting to pounce if I go home, the only place I can see him. God, why does she scare me so much? That talk, talk, talk in the half-disapproving, half-angry monotone. If you listened to me, you wouldn't be in this mess. Come home. Nobody loves me. You don't love me. Go to church. No one cares what happens to me. Pray. If I killed myself, no one would even notice. Her pained eyes always on the verge of tears. Christian is 10 in the 5x8 school portrait. His eyes are huge and his smile uncertain. The Broadway-esque lights streak across the generic background behind him. He's 13 now. The picture is old and there's something wrong with it. I get up. Jesus. His eyes have been X'd out with a knife. Since Sheet with Child's Donut went up at Nerd and Doof, so has my courage. I go there alone now. Johnny will say hi if no one else does. I sit at a table with him and 4 other black-clad punks in the unlit back area of the gallery where the drum kit is and my artwork hangs. 2 of the punks wear worn and creased motorcycle jackets covered in band patches. One has a dead Kennedy stencil covering the entire back of his. I could do something like that. Camouflage mine's shiny newness. No one talks much, which is fine with me. I can hear the music better. If someone does speak, it's about bands or to make a derisive comment about politics and mainstream culture. Liars, sheep, morons. Grab yourself a beer, Johnny says, looking at me. Really? Yes, really, he chuckles, nodding towards the kitchen. I feel like a wannabe cool leather mountain overshadowing the table as I push my docks into the floor and unbend my knees. I keep my eyes down, but I can still feel the gazes of the others on me. When I look to see where I'm going, I catch sight of their eyes like cats at night. God, I need to do something about this jacket. I cringe as my chair screeches over the floor, even if I've been anointed with the highest honor, invited to go to the kitchen alone and get myself a beer. I hate being singled out. I trip over my own foot, pitch forward, then regain my balance on legs like fence posts, march towards the kitchen, whose door shines in the gold light of the hallway. It's quiet and clean. White, well, no graffiti. The street light slats in across the sink and counter, drawing an irregular parallelogram on the floor's tiles. It feels abandoned in here, to be honest. I pull open the fridge, piles of wax paper and plastic-wrapped items, Vietnamese spring rolls mainly, from reading the labels. I remember the startled look on Johnny's face the one time I asked him to see a menu. Lots of nerd, not so much doof. I grab a blue from the bottom shelf. Hey, what do you think you're doing? An angry male voice behind me. I whip around to see the redhead from my first night here, the one who told me that Johnny only likes teenagers. He sways backwards and sneers. Getting a beer, I snap, then in a voice way more whiny than I want it to be. Johnny told me I could. The redhead stares at me. What's your name? He bellows. I don't have to tell you my name. The guy transforms in an instant. My name's Greg, he says in a coquettish little boy voice as his eyes move between mine and the fridge behind me. I smile. He's funny. I don't tell him my name, though. Quentin is tall, bone-racked, ghost-thin with a long face and nose. Thin, shineless black hair cut into a bowl that partially hides black eyes with the smallest of embers lighting them. Pasty, pale. His tentacle-like limbs are perpetually encased in black. He even wore a turtleneck throughout the summer. He smokes these long cigarettes that, he says, come from Egypt. I know he's on welfare, so it doesn't make sense to buy them. I mean, I got my docs when I was on welfare, but I knew I'd be working soon. Quentin won't. His pride, or the way he parses the smokes out. That's it. The Egyptian smokes are his thing, his identity. No employer is going to hire smokes. Do you want to see my place? He says in his arch voice, retinard on a Wednesday afternoon. Sure. Now we're on a date going to his house. I said yes because he's tall, thin, and if he was healthy, attractive. We walk in silence. His room, in a house he shares with others, or did he say grandmother? I wasn't paying attention. Has frilly white curtains, a white dresser, and a whitish bedspread with delicate faded flowers. He sits on the bed, scooting over along the headboard, but only to the middle, as if he doesn't know whether he wants me to join him or not. I stand beside the bed. Against the ragged, discolored white and disappearing sprays of peonies, his arms and legs appear even thinner and longer. They look like cutouts, an absence in the 3 dimensions that surround me. When Quentin and I make eye contact, or whatever it is, I realize he doesn't see me. I could be a piece of furniture, or I could be an absence, too. I glance at my watch. Oh, shit, I lie. I forgot that I have to work at 5. I grab my bag and get the fuck out of there. Hello? Hi, someone told me to call you regarding renting or borrowing a skeleton. Silence. I'm an artist. I want to project it on a wall and trace it. Oh, well, we have skeletons, yes, says the woman. Silence. I'm happy to put down a deposit if you'd rent me one. Just a minute. Shuffling, muffled talking, footsteps. Hello? Hi. You can borrow one. How long would you need it for? 2 weeks, however long you can spare it. 2 weeks is fine. When do you want to pick it up? Today? Okay. Do you know where we are? 7th Street? Yes, we'll have it waiting for you at reception. Thank you. How much will it cost? No charge. Just bring it back when you're done. Really? I can leave a deposit, whatever. It's fine. Just make sure you bring it back. I hang up the phone, bursting inside. The Arbor U Medical School is lending me a skeleton. They don't even know me. How can this be? I want to put life-size skeletons on the piece I've started. A few days ago, I went into Byway and asked if I could have their old signage. You know those hand-painted red and blue signs that completely obliterate their windows? Seedless raisins, mink difference hairspray, Zest soap, $1.99. There were rolls of old signs in the bottom of the area between the windows and the rest of the store. I guess if the store wasn't bargain basement like Byway, they'd put mannequins or displays of actual products there. Sure, you can have them, said the guy in the store. He even added, we change them on Mondays, so come back then and you can have more. On the hallway sheet, I glued a couple signs and a raft of photocopied and resized head and shouldered portraits by Francis Bacon, visual rap music that I'm going to punk up with skeletons. Since my drawing skills are, to say the least, rusty, it would take me hours to draw the skeletons, and even then they'd be wonky. Why do I need to draw when I can light something up and trace its shadow? Machines, projectors, cameras, these are the future. Artists don't need to draw anymore, just like musicians don't need to play instruments.